to make the weather service more efficient. I've been pushing them for years that we need long-term weather predictions, not telling me that it's going to be sunshiny today. I know it's going to be shiny days for the most part as well. So it's an important one, and we're continuing to fight for actually to make the more precise funding on that as well. So that's the story on NOAA. Doge cut. Give me the Doge ones. Okay, Doge. Yeah, let's talk about Doge for a second. I think it's another point as well. I think again some data points are important for you all to know. So we're $36 trillion in debt. We're spending $1 trillion a year on interest. This year alone, the federal government's going to take in 5, but spend $7 trillion. We're going to take in 5, but spend 7. That's a difference of $2 trillion. This is unsustainable.
Why are we giving tax cuts?
We don't need that.
He's just shutting off funding without Congress. Isn't that your power? Power of the purse?
So those are some starting points I would talk to you about as well. The next thing I would mention is that the federal government issued $250 billion of improper payments last year. That's not waste, fraud, or abuse, it's just incompetence. $250 billion of improper payments, most of those from Social Security and Medicare.
According to who?
How do we know?
Show the paperwork.
Show us the audit.
Source for that back, please.
So that's from the Government Accounting Office. It was published long before there was a Doge, or there was an Elon Musk even involved with this from the Government Accounting Office. So we'll post it on our website later today. It's called the Government Accounting Office Report. Absolutely, I've got that in front of me as well. So that's but one example. I'm afraid that again, programs like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, the Pentagon, the bigger numbers that they're writing, the more opportunity, fraud, waste, and abuse. And again, 70% of Americans want us to get rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse. 70% of Americans support doing this, and that we're saving. 70% of Americans want us to save the American taxpayer money and balance the budget.
But there are other ways to do
We
it.
all want that, but we don't want an unelected, non-civil servant person in charge of it. And I'm like,
Amen. Woo.
I think if we go through the process of vetting, everybody would be more okay with it.
Yeah. So all the people all the Doge employees have been vetted. They're
We
have it. Prove it.
Yeah, prove it.
Can you tell us how? Can you tell us the process for vetting them?
They go through the same process that every other federal government employee does.
Prove it.
Prove it. Not a federal government.
So he is an advisor to the president, just like Jill Biden was an advisor to the president. He's an advisor. The rest of those people are employees, and I know you're fed so much misinformation.
Why do we give so much money to Musk?
Why?
Yes.
Why?
Sorry.
Okay, so we got a question about the veterans.
Or when it happened to others. So how do we make sure we're all on the same page is what I want to know. Like, because clearly half the people in the U.S. are brainwashed one way or the other way. So how do we get us all on the same page again? Because divided we stand, or divided we fall, united we stand. We have to come back together. We have to come back together. I know we don't like it. We need democracy.
Let the man talk.
Okay, hold on. So this is like, if we get down to these side arguments again, I'll just have to leave. I don't want it to become personal.
I apologize.
Yeah, let's talk about the veterans.
Yeah, let's talk about the veterans. What a good idea. Again, I just want you to know how important this is to me. Since the Civil War, someone from every generation of my family has served. My dad served, my brother served, I served. I mentioned my son is serving right now. I think at the federal level, what we've done over the last few years, I thought we were making some progress under President Trump, but we went backwards over the last 4 years. What I've seen happen is the veterans service. I call it customer satisfaction has gone way down in the last 4 years, that the lines have become longer.
So why are we cutting staff then?
So it's becoming less efficient. There's just become a general malaise, if you would, in our veterans programs once again. In our level, we have given the veterans hundreds of billions of new dollars. Sometimes I feel like we're throwing good money after bad money, and it's not getting to where it needs to be, but we certainly have tried to fund those things. We've allowed patients, veterans, to get more care in their own home. But there's a lot that we haven't got accomplished. I'm very concerned about the veteran suicide rate. I'm concerned about the farmer suicide rate as well. I'm concerned about mental health across the country, the epidemic of mental health challenges that we have as well. But we're continuing to do the best we can to support them. I have one person, his entire life is service for veterans that works for me, that has helped hundreds of veterans straighten out their benefits, get them to the appointments that they needed to get as well. It's far from perfect. I do think under this administration we'll go back in the right direction.
Unless they're trans.
Yeah, exactly.
For women.
Exactly.
45% of federal workers are vets. How do you explain that when we are cutting all of these federal workers?
I will not sit down and shut up.
So there's some questions here about some of the federal programs: Head Start, Medicaid, SNAP, special education. Look, those are all great programs that I care about. Are they as efficient as they could be? I don't know. You know, what I love about Head Start is there's lots of local people involved with those, making sure that we're stretching those dollars, so I'll do my best to protect them. The SNAP programs, again, we've tripled the amount of spending on those food programs. Look, I think the best thing we could do for people is to help them get a job. And I think that
They can.
if people have mental health problems, if they don't have the education, let's try to help those people get a job. There'll be people that need the SNAP program. I understand that. But does it need to be triple of what it was 5 years ago? That's the question, right?